Leaving a legacy means giving something back to those who will find value in it after your death. That could be family or the world, depending on the individual. Brilliant minds all throughout history look to find a lasting impact on society. This search becomes an obsession, and the stress of the endeavor leads to the brilliant individual's undoing. This is precisely what happens with Viktor in Arcane. When we first meet Viktor, he's an assistant to Heimerdinger. That's a weird word to say. No one takes him seriously because he's a poor boy from the Undercity. No one believes in him. He even goes as far as to say, "I was an outsider the moment I stepped in." With no title or house to his name, Viktor doesn't have a legacy to begin with. He's scraping by just to get noticed by someone. This is where Jace comes in. After the explosion in Jace's apartment, Jace's Hextech research is left to Heimerdinger to dispose of. Viktor searches through it to find value in it, seeing that magic could change lives. With no legacy to his name, the poor boy from the Undercity helps Jace out of his lowest point. This brings them together as partners. They forge ahead with good intentions in their hearts to make something revolutionary. This is where Viktor's legacy begins. After the time skip, we see that Hextech has become a huge part of how Piltover trades its goods. It's a lasting impact on society that puts Piltover on the map. Both Jace and Viktor have finally broken through and showcased their talents, but they're still not done improving lives. They're set on making Hextech a household product that could power virtually anything to improve not only the people of Piltover, but the people of the Undercity as well. However, these good intentions lead Heimerdinger to question the safety of the project. Jace agrees, and this is where the clash between Jace and Viktor's moral values arise. The battle between safety and innovation. This is a very morally complex question that I may elaborate on in a future video. But when it comes to Viktor, innovation is his one motivation. He will not be stopped by Jace's new rules and regulations. No, Viktor is a rebel and doesn't like being told what to do. Break into a lab to work on restricted materials? Sure. Sneak into the Undercity even when the council puts up a blockade? Why not? Some safety precautions will not stop Viktor from creating his own legacy. On top of all of that, Viktor's life is also coming to an end. This makes him question if he's done enough for society, saying my contributions will be short-lived. This makes his quest to build a legacy more urgent. He must do something grand. As he ponders this question, Viktor stumbles onto something groundbreaking. He learns that the Hex Core responds to human matter, meaning that Hextech can evolve. Side note, this is really random, but this whole plot point kind of reminds me of Little Shop of Horrors. Feed me, Viktor! I am so sorry. Viktor sees the potential in saving lives, which would be a lasting impact on the world even after his passing. However, Jace sees this more as an opportunity to save his best friend's life, which makes the quest to not only build the legacy, but to find a cure more dire, which makes him become more consumed by his work. Failure after failure causes Viktor to seek out the only person that could possibly help him. That man is Singed. The last time Viktor saw the mad scientist was when he was a kid. He found someone with a brilliant mind that could understand him. Viktor assisted Singed with Rio, a rare mutation that must survive at all cost. As Viktor sees the horrors of what Singed meant by survival, it causes Viktor to morally disagree and run off. Now, Viktor is desperate in saving not only his invention, but his life as well. Seeing a doomed man before him, Singed gives him an easy way out, giving him Shimmer, so that the Hex Core evolution can become stable and save his life in the process. This is where Viktor's legacy becomes more corrupt by selfish means. This endeavor is no longer about helping others that could be suffering in the same fashion. It's a selfish act to save his own life. Even Singed goes as far as to say, love and legacy are the sacrifice we make for progress. Can I just say that Singed has some of the greatest quotes in the show? This man is truly underrated in this aspect. Anyways, these wise words from Singed foreshadow what's to come of Viktor and his legacy. It's worth pointing out that Viktor is still not fully consumed by his selfish intent. He still believes that Jace will understand. However, this changes when Jace reacts in anger when Viktor comes back from the Undercity. Just adding insult to injury, Jace also agrees with Mel about weaponizing Hextech, which doesn't really sit well with Viktor. This is where Viktor shuts Jace out completely and becomes a loner once more. He no longer cares what anyone thinks and takes Shimmer without regret, getting a cool magic metal leg in the process. This is all fun at first when we see Viktor run for the first time without his cane. This scene is like one of my favorites, but it also reminds me of Forrest Gump where he runs and his leg braces fall off. This still isn't enough for Viktor. He's obsessed with the Hex Core and wants to give more and more of himself to the cause. We see all the cuts all over his body. He's fully devoted to the project. He will not stop until all the secrets of the Hex Core are revealed. Until Skye comes into the picture. Now, Skye has always had a crush on Viktor, but she's too shy to say anything about it. As we see her build up confidence to ask Viktor out, at the same time, Viktor is in trouble because there is no more Shimmer to work with. With only the project on his mind, he uses the last bit of himself to give to the Hex Core, the obsession consuming his mind altogether. As he places his hands on the Hex Core, Skye steps in and saves him. However, it comes with the cost of her own life. Skye was the only person that believed in Viktor no matter what. The one person that saw his brilliance when everyone turned their back on him. The one person that saw him create a legacy for the good of all. In the end, all the good intentions that Viktor started with were stripped away for selfish desires. This realization hits Viktor hard, taking all his might to kill his life's work. However, it fails because the Hex Core has more power over him than he intentionally thought. Consumed by the guilt of killing an innocent life, Viktor decides to take his own. However, Jace steps in before he can take his final step off the edge. A nice callback to where the partnership started. Both are in deep regret over their actions. Their egos and legacies make them a shell of the man they once were.
In the pursuit of great, we fail to do good.
I think it's apparent that Viktor will make it out of this explosion alive. If Vander, Silco, Savika, Powder, Singed, and Vi all can make it out of an unstable Hextech gemstone explosion in Act 1, I'm pretty sure Viktor will survive as well. Maybe in the process he'll get seriously injured and he'll have to wear a Darth Vader type suit to survive. Or maybe the Hex Core elements that are in his bloodstream will shield him from the explosion, causing him to become a magical metal cyborg man. Either option would be really interesting to see. But when it comes to Viktor's story arc in Season 2, I have to say there are a lot of different possibilities. We could see Skye come back as a corrupt entity of Hexcore. Viktor would have to fight his own creation in the process. We could see more of Jace and Viktor's conflicting opinions about safety and innovation, or start an entirely new conflict between Singed and Viktor about their conflicting views on science. But if none of these come to fruition, what I would really love to see is Mel and Viktor interacting more. I feel like there's like a silent feud going on between them. If there is, it's really funny because both of them are so similar but so different at the same time. It feels like they both have the same goal in life, but the process in which they want to achieve it is very different. When building a legacy, an individual may start out with good intentions, but as the pressure to make something grand consumes consumes them, the individual may lose themselves in the process of creating something revolutionary. Good intent is replaced by selfish obsession that may put the individual's life at stake. In the blind obsession, they forget to be mindful of what led them there in the first place. This story is a warning that helps us put in perspective the importance of who you are and where you started, because it can help ground you when egos and legacies get in the way of good intentions. But hey, that's just what I think. Let me know what you guys think of Viktor's story in the comments down below. If you liked this video, maybe you'll enjoy this one about Silco, or you can check out the whole playlist right here. Hope you guys have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.